Warriors Unite! Back with another episode. In fact, 2 episodes. We're going to do 2 of them. I'll do one now. We'll send one a little bit later, too. But I'm going to try to catch up with 2. First of all, guys, happy Easter. Hope you guys had a good Easter. Enjoying Easter under the Lord's God purposes. Make sure that you continue to conquest yourselves and conquest everyone around you. Because of that, you have the power, my friends. You are a male, a strong, high-value male, and you should be the man. The man means to have that superpower that God has given you to be able to be strong and lead people and lead everything around you, have dominion around things around you. All right, we're going to do 2 of them today. We're going to do the first one on fasting because I know I had a couple requests for that. Then I'll do another one about how we should let women come to you. And we'll focus on that a little bit too. All right, so the first one, let's do some shout outs here. So as I look at my list, let me make sure I'm getting them down here. Suman, yodov, keep retaining, my friend. I think we talk about the fact that you want to retain. And it was a mention about being a virgin. Look at my friends. I think that it's important to keep your energy as long as possible. So I believe in that a great deal, especially only when you have to procreate. I got into a lot of trouble when I was younger because I did not necessarily do that. And I think as I reflect back on it, my mistake is that I should have done more of that back when I was younger. So I'm fully aware that we should be doing more of those things as time goes on. So I admire you, Suman. Keep that up and continue to keep retaining. All right, Darkless 77, wet dreams. We'll talk about that in another video. I think wet dreams are something that's important to look at. And I don't really count that against your streak. I think my streak's up to like 1,200 or something like NoFap. And monk mode, those things are important enough to keep following. But, it's important to kind of look at that. If those things happen at night, I don't really fully believe that's something that is a... something that I think that's the evil one trying to get into you and tempt you. So be careful of that, but I don't think it's something you should count against your streak. Anyway, and really a streak is not as important as your whole mental approach. This has got to be a lifestyle change for you warriors. If it's a lifestyle change, even if you fall back once in a while, like we talked about Smiling Reaper's comments the other day, it's not the end of the world because you're doing a streak and important. Jon the Dawn, thank you, my friend. Brother Boldly, Official Music, thank you. Channel 3, Optical Man. Gerry, Manning, edging is bad, I agree. Like I said, monk mode is probably the best way. I'm not perfect with it myself, and I go back and forth on that. I'm still working on that, but we got to continue with that. Remington, tufflips, thank you, my friend. Band, thank you. EQ. Geogenus, Triple R, thank you. Profanatic. Desert Painter, I think it is, or Ranger. Badbway Music, and Tobe von Helsing. So I can't read it, sorry about that. But Tobe, thank you as well. All right, my friends. Anyway, at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, here's our topic. Our topic goes back to 2 people who suggested this, and I didn't get to it right away. I'm going to do it right now. And we're talking about fasting during our streak. Don Juan and Retaining the Seed both have asked about this, and so let me kind of talk about this one for a few minutes here. So, warriors, when we talk about this, we're really kind of talking about the idea of becoming the best high-value male you can become. This is where you get your power, and a lot of this comes from the idea of self-control. Yes, we talk about semen retention. We talk about that because as a topic, it's important. Yes, we talk about women, because women are the key element of why you release, of course. And so in order to control both of that, we have to kind of talk about that. But in essence, warriors, the key to this whole thing is being able to master yourself. And part of mastering yourself is mastering all aspects of things that you do. And a big part of that is not only your semen retention, there's also things like exercising, controlling your addictions, and of course, controlling your diet. And so we talk about fasting as being a key element in that because fasting is something that can kind of test your ability to be able to not have food when you don't want to. Now, a lot of fasting, the key to fasting is to be able to understand in the long run, what is your goal? And your goal has to be to continue to be as healthy as you can be. And so fasting has a lot of benefits to it. And the idea is that, first of all, you want to decrease the amount of caloric intake you take in. Therefore, by exerting a lot of energy and exercising, you're expanding a lot more calories and you're taking a lot less calories in. And that's how you're able to end up losing weight on a day-to-day basis. I've lost about 75 pounds by about a year or so because of that very method. And so I feel like in tremendous condition right now at 63, almost 63 years old, because I've done that sort of thing. Now, I fast intermittently, which means I go from 8 o'clock at night to sometimes 10 or 12 o'clock in the next day, because I really want to kind of keep those calories down, but also because it gives me a chance to pray. And so meditating, once again, the whole idea that I went to this in the first place, I'm talking about no fapping and keeping your seed, is because I wanted to get closer to God. I believe there's a spiritual essence of things which is very strong, and the spiritual essence of things is keeping everything inside of you so God can connect with you more. That's my belief. Now, whether you believe that or not, that's kind of what I believe in. And as a result of that, fasting is a big part of that. Because when you have food in your system, you're not necessarily thinking as strong as you should think. You're digesting, just like when they say when you have a cold, the old theory is that to get a cold, you should just drink liquids. Because the more you eat, the more your body is going to those types of foods to digest those, and it stops you from healing faster because your body can't focus on those things that are hurting your body. I think the same thing applies when it comes to anything dealing with spirituality. If you're meditating to God or you're talking to God, it's very difficult sometimes to be able to talk with Him if you have a full stomach. Just like when I teach classes, it's very difficult to sit there and teach a class at noon because people are hungry. Same kind of philosophy. When people have something they're digesting or something in their system, it's not always easy to pray and do other things. And so today I had a huge Easter dinner, but fortunately I had a lot of calories to spend because I didn't really kind of eat anything since last night. So I did fasting until noon this afternoon, and we had lunch. And so I was able to deal with it, but now I'm not having anything until tomorrow afternoon as well. So those type of things are important to kind of focus on because your fasting does a lot of things for you. And I believe totally in fasting. Now, I have gone before, and I didn't do it this year, but I did in years past. I would go 40 days without food. Now, I would have liquids and juices, things like that, but I would go the whole time without it. Now, you can lose weight that way, but again, the bigger thing to me is the fact that you're able to connect more with God. And I believe that's a huge issue when it comes to fasting. So I would fast, if I was you, warriors, I would fast to try to help you with your diet, of course. But I also fast because it gets you closer spiritually to your Creator and your God. And that to me is more important reason. Now, there's lots of types of fasts you can do. There's obviously a fast that's intermittent. You can try it a few hours here and there. You try 16 hours, 12 hours. I would do it at least a few times a week, not only to get your digestive system going and kind of get it settled in, but also obviously to lose weight, but also then to be closer to God spiritually. A lot of benefits to fasting if you do it the right way. Obviously, if you do it the wrong way, you're not getting a lot of nutrients and vitamins and things you need, and that's not a good thing necessarily either. So you have to kind of get balanced. So I would do some research on it, figure out what the best pattern is for you. But also, it also goes back to eating the right kind of foods as well. I have to stay away from the sugars and the carbohydrates, things myself, but I try to fast then on other things, and I try to drink a lot of water. I try to at least drink 3 cups of water before I go to bed and 3 cups of water in the morning. So I get to do that most of the time. And the rest of the day, I try to drink other things, but for the most part, I'm doing a lot of water at night and when I get up in the morning. But again, fasting is something that I think is crucial. But once again, it's another one of those self-control types of things we always go back to this, my friends, is that you can't master the world. You can't have domain over the world. And then this is including women, animals, children. You can't have domain over the world if you can't control yourself. The key is learning self-control. And that's what this all is about. This is why we talk about this on the channel. This is why I try to get the information out there. I struggled with self-control for many, many years. I'm better at it now. I'm not perfect. I'm still working on a lot of things myself. But I at least understand after all these years how important this self-control is. If you control yourself and God is with you and you're working with God, then life becomes a lot easier. As Smiling Reaper said, lots of you guys have said, life becomes easy. It doesn't mean it's perfect. You're not going to have your heartaches. You're not going to, I just had a discussion with a friend of mine, and, you're not going to necessarily get away from issues. I mean, you got, women around you all the time. You got temptation around you all the time. Lots of forms of temptation. It's not necessarily going to stop. But the idea is that it's going to be helpful for you to be able to get in a pattern where you're achieving your goals, focusing on bettering yourself. Don't worry about the women. Don't worry about anything else. Focus on your goals and focus on yourself becoming the best person you can become. Now, if you're struggling with, fasting and not be able to do it, I would take it like I would do anything else. Take it like you would with retention. If you're struggling and you're going back and forth, stop. Try the first time. Do it for about an hour. Then try it for 2 hours. Keep building yourself up when you're not eating something or just drinking liquids, and then you'll be able to get better as time goes on. So fasting is something that's really, to me, is a key type quality of this. But again, as we talk about all this, it's an ability to kind of master yourself again. So obviously it starts with retention. I think that's the hardest thing to master. You obviously have addictions like any other addictions you might be involved in, but this is a huge addiction. If you can do that, then you can take your success with things like taking cold showers. You can do your success in exercising all the time, working out all the time, and then getting to the point where you're also then looking at your diet, and you're able then to kind of say, okay, I'm not going to eat all these bad foods. I'm going to just keep certain foods that I'm going to eat, and we can talk about that in another video. But then also kind of cut down the amount of food that I'm having as well. And again, you'll see a big difference, and you'll be able to kind of get stronger as you go through. So, all right. Well, I hope this answers Don Juan and retaining the seeds question. It's important to me to have fasting during your streak. I think you have to continue doing this as you go through. This should be also another one of those lifestyle types of things you're doing. Every so often, it's good to fast, get the bad stuff out of your system, and be able to drink a lot of water and clear your system out. That's always a very good sign. It also gets you closer spiritually as well. All right, so I'm going to do a second one in a second here, my friends. But until next time, until we talk again soon, remember 2 things. 1, every day is a new day to a great warrior. And number 2, guys, continue to battle on!